All right, here we are once again. Which, of course, as always, means it's Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. It is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. Of course, you can find us on video, like you are right now if you're watching us on video, either live or on demand. Temptations Beach Facebook page, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and at Temptations on Twitter. Podcast version, of course, can be found on Podbean, Google Play, and on iHeartRadio. If you don't want the video and just want to hear our lovely voices, that's fine too. We don't judge. However you want to ingest the show, if you will, please do so. I am Snare Jesus. You can find things I do on the interwebs by searching it. He is Beach, high above the Temptations in Sharonville, Ohio, the hemp quarters. How are things on another scorcher of a day in Cincinnati at Temptations Beach?
Summer has officially gotten here. It is true. Things are averagely okay for a brilliantly hot day. um, and so, yeah, welcome everyone to the High Noon Hemp Show, episode 176, I think. Oh my gosh.
I believe so.
176 episodes. It is just, everyone's just as good as another. I'm sure of it. We're giving you quality content here on the High Noon Hemp Show every week. If you're joining live, thank you for that. If you're watching later, we don't mind. Just as long as you're getting your hemp knowledge, figuring out what I'm wearing, getting some news. It's all good. It's true. It's true. And, my newest disclaimer for the show is that the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. More on the FDA later, of course. What's the FDA up to? Nothing now. Nothing. Anyway, let's get jump right into the show this week with the product Spotlight. The first one, speaking of summer, this is probably one of the most appropriate hats you could possibly purchase for yourself for a nice, hot, sunny summer. This is a no bad ideas bucket hat. The bucket hat is mostly used in the summer, because keep that sun off your ears and your face and your neck and everything. And so this particular one is in Sharonville. We should have a little section of these, I hope, maybe in the stores. Well, not. I'm not even sure if No Bad Ideas makes hemp hats anymore. So I'll have to check into that in one way or another. We just got a fresh batch of Dr. Squatch soap. These things fly off the shelves. They'll probably be sold out in who knows how long. It's amazing how much people love their Dr. Squatch soaps. But get it fresh while it's hot, or maybe warm anyway. I don't know. And then to go along with that, more than anything else, I suppose that deodorant is mostly or morely, if that's even a word used, in the summertime on hot days like now. And so Washita Farms, and of course this is CBD deodorant. A little bit of CBD in there, can't be bad for you one way or another. But it's probably the deodorant part of it all at this point that's can be more used and appropriate than anything else, I would say. And the last from the store are the Delta 8 Funky Nugs caramels or caramels or caramel, depending on where you're from or how you want to pronounce it. Either way, Delta 8's pronounced the same, no matter where you go. And of course, Delta 8 is still the hot topic out there, even though there are so many other cannabinoids now being extracted or made or whatnot from industrial hemp. But these are the classic good old Delta 8. I'm trying to see, 25 milligrams per. It's probably a decent amount of Delta 8 for you folks. Enjoy that. And like I like to say with all these new industrial hemp extracts and byproducts that we're finding these days. Try that at home. Don't get behind the wheel of a vehicle or go out in public. And then it affects you in a way that you don't want to be out in public,
Yeah.
maybe. And so know how these things affect you one way or another. Delta 8 has gained in popularity, huge popularity, and there are reasons for that. And so figure out what those side effects may be, so you can manage them correctly. It's not I'm not it's not in any way crazy or overbearing, I don't believe, unless you're a first time user of cannabis.
Yeah.
And of course, no matter what you're doing, be safe about whatever cannabis it is, even if it's CBD and you've never used cannabis before. We tell all our customers, start small.
Mhm.
You know, like we like I used to tell skateboard parents, start on the floor, not at the top of the ramp. It's the same with anything else. Is start small, know how it affects your body. Everything affects everybody a little differently, one way or another. So there you have it from the store. And of course, with summertime, that leads us to what? Golfing. So the one from my door are my hemp plastic, I should say hemp composite golf tees, made with USA grown, Kentucky grown hemp. I'm pretty sure made in Kentucky. Um, don't know if they're still available online or not. They were not inexpensive, so it's hard to say, until they can make. And again, the goal is to be able to make it a bucket of these for $10 or something, just like a big old bag of regular golf tees are. Um, Now, the real test, and I haven't tested them yet. The real test is going to be to see how long it takes me to break one. And so I feel like these should actually hold up quite well. I feel like if anything, they may chip more than they would break. Normally if you break a tee, you can just break it kind of right off in half or right at where it was on the ground, maybe. But I don't think that these will actually. I would be surprised, more or less, if they do break clean in half. I think more that they may chip, like around the tops from contact or what. So we'll see. We'll see. But I am going to put one of these to the test real soon. Real soon. In fact, I can actually put them to the test on our farm. I should have just done that already. So anyway, but I just ordered some wiffle ball golf wiffle balls,
Yeah.
so to speak, so we can actually play golf wiffle ball. So anyway, but I'm going to break out the golf tees, the hemp tees, soon enough. When I golf, I have a towel, a hemp towel for my golf clothes. I got hemp tees. I have the CBD cream that I carry with me because I can tell you what, man. I remember one time golfing and my forearm just flared up with pain, and luckily I had my CBD cream in there. I was fine. It's amazing how much it helped. So, anyway, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about this, and that's it. 4 from the door, 1 from. Whoops, I'm sorry. 4 from the store. Getting ahead of myself here. 1 from my door on the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show.
Indeed. Which brings us to the segment that most people, I would assume, we haven't done an official survey, but most people tune in for the beachwear segment where hemp and fashion collide because they want that information. They want to know how to dress. They want to look as good as Beach does on a daily basis. And the only way you're going to do that is by paying attention to what Beach tells you when I ask him, what are you wearing, Beach?
That's right. If you're curious, to quote one of Bugs Bunny's most famous lines, "You are a maroon." That's how Bugs Bunny called people morons. He called them a maroon. Today it's maroon. I don't wear maroon a lot. I don't wear red or variations of red a whole lot. I've got some heads tees, uh, but so I'm breaking out the maroon. You maroon. My hat there. That's an officially licensed Puma hat. If you look real close, you can see like the outline of a Puma um, in the hat right there. Yeah. Puma, Puma, the shoe company, more or less. Um, my shirt is a classic old Hemp Town t-shirt. I just found some of these actually in different colors. I'm super excited because once again, this is like a 15-year-old t-shirt that's brand new, brand spanking new um, to the world. Down there, I've got my Patagonia shorts. That's right, Patagonia. They even use American grown, U.S. grown hemp in their hemp clothing as well. So another double bonus there when you go shop at Patagonia for hemp stuff, and they usually have a decent amount of hemp stuff on their website. In my pocket, as always, everywhere I go, for the most part, is my Hemptations Green Spring Technologies pen. Underneath it, with some Hempist briefs and my Oasis No Show socks, and then a good old pair of Adidas Sambas. Bringing it all together there. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know. I am a maroon. Shoot. Fun ways of insulting people. Just call them a maroon. All right, well, let's get on to some news. We got some good products. Actually, a lot of fun products on the news today. More than anything, kind of less news as product updates, I should say. But the big news is we thought North Carolina was going to get their stuff handled, and supposedly we are approaching. We're like a week away from the first, and my understanding is they have not voted on the bill to make sure that hemp stays legal. So if you don't know, if you haven't been watching, first time watcher, don't have any no idea what's going on in North Carolina. If by June 30th they do not pass some type of law, all hemp products, all cannabis products will be illegal. You can't grow it, you can't sell it, you can't produce it, you can't do anything. Ironically, I just saw how there's some Asheville testing company or processing company that is now um, doing Delta 8 and CBD testing. And so that's they're gonna be testing for a whole. They're gonna have a whole week to do these things if North Carolina doesn't pass some type of law, some type of amendment, some type of something. I don't know. I don't know the specifics of what has to be done, other than if they don't do something by June 30th, then all cannabis will be illegal in the state of North Carolina. Which means North Carolina is a huge grower. They are, I think, North Carolina is contending with Kentucky when it comes to acreage of industrial hemp. I'm not positive on that. I haven't seen the numbers in the last year or two, honestly. But that being said, um, I guess I don't know if those farmers would have to go pull their plants up, let them die in the field, um, or what, as of July 1st. What a way to celebrate Independence Day. You're gonna have to go. I mean, they're gonna make an emergency move, basically making all hemp products illegal overnight, and reversing all the work that's been done since the 2018 Farm Bill in North Carolina, and it's a lot. They have encouraged and done a good job of producing and growing and producing and making hemp products, mostly CBD, of course, but other stuff as well. And so to think this is actually going to happen is just absurd. It's just really absurd, and we'll see. We'll know next week, because I think if they haven't done something by next week's show, uh, then all of a sudden July 1st, you're going to see a lot of people, like, I don't know, leaving the state with stuff. Like, again, happy Independence Day. Here's some free hemp we can't sell or make or use or have. So we'll see. We'll see next week what it is. But this is one of those dun 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 moments in North Carolina, honestly. So, and they're probably all on vacation till after the 4th at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of. I feel like there's no way that they're not going to meet next week. They're not going to meet the week after that, probably. And so it's crazy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Um, Family Handyman article on hemp building products. They mention Hempitecture, which is um, a hempcrete company out in Ketchum, Idaho. It's so weird because Ketchum, Idaho is the only place I've ever been in Idaho. And we stayed there for like a week, 5 days. We stayed in the little hotel where supposedly Hemingway stayed and was
Hmm.
hung out there. Um,
Wow.
I remember we were out on a snowshoe walk. Ketchum, Idaho was like 70 out, and there was probably still 2 feet of snow. And I walked out this probably 50-foot tall hemp leaf in this big hemp snow pasture that was untouched. That was kind of cool. That's about all the hemp related stuff there. But yeah, Ketchum, Idaho, obviously is where Hempitecture's out of, and again, the hempcrete stuff is going nuts with it. But they also mentioned hemp wood. I think I've got a pic here of some hemp wood products. Now, what hemp wood is doing, for the most part, and I think you can buy planks like 2x4s possibly. I know you can do flooring, but they will actually then sell you the hemp wood to put on a lathe. So these were spun. Most of these products were probably spun on a lathe, which I think is fascinating because when you look at the press board that we have, like if you put this on a lathe, like you get a block of this on a lathe, it would just chip away, and there's no way you can mold it. This hemp wood, this form, this way of making hemp wood, that hemp wood out of Murray, Kentucky, they've been open for a couple years now. Again, using locally grown hemp in Kentucky for the most part, is making a product that I could never have envisioned, to be honest with you, which is just brilliant because that means, eventually when we can get the price down, a hemp 2x4 is going to, again, it'll have to stand the test of construction proving, so to speak. You can't just throw it out there, expect to build a house out of it, or something of structure without knowing whether it's strong enough. I mean, I want to know that. That's for sure. I'm not encouraging anyone to use hemp somewhere where it wouldn't be safe. And I sure want to see, just like we're looking at the hempcrete, we want to see the tests done. We want the durability, the strength, we want all those things that construction people look at, that architectures um, look at when they go to build a structure of any type. And those comparisons are the one thing that we don't have right now with hemp that we need. And the more hemp products like these and things that are out there like this, um, that we can test. I want a hemp 2x4 made by hemp wood, and I want to test it for its strength and breakability and all that stuff. I don't know what all the how they do that, but they do. Because it's got to be strong enough to do this or that, or you wouldn't want your house built out of it either way.
Yeah.
Um, and again, 2x4s on their own are not that strong. 2x4s put together in the correct order, in the right manner, builds up most of the walls in most of the houses now. And so, once again, being able to use that out of something sustainable, hemp wood, I'd rather grow my walls in 6 months than know that it took 10 to 15 years or, something to grow the wood, um, to make that wood. And so, again, right now it's a cost issue. Like, I know they're doing flooring, and I look forward to being able to have a flooring project something maybe small where I can afford to buy some hemp flooring and put some flooring in somewhere because that's
Mhm.
the way I do. That's what we do here, and it's a need thing. I don't, there used to be a day where I would just do it because I could. Now it's like I need it. I don't, why waste that material, money, or anything?
Mhm.
Even though having a small wood floor, like even where the customers walk up to the counter, would be
Yeah.
kind of cool, something like that. So, just one more hemp project I'm going to have to look into. And right now, they seem to be endless, and which is a great world to live in. Again, I feel like I'm in such a great world to live in when it comes to industrial hemp products. And that's how the show can. I mean, that's how we can go so good with the show. And all that, because there's so much stuff out there, including yet another Nike. This one now they are collabing with Stussy to make this Nike, but this is supposed to be a decent amount of hemp material in this shoe. And it looks white on the screen. Well, no, it looks white on my computer screen, but it looks you can see the natural if you're watching on YouTube or something. That's kind of weird now. My computer screen color is totally different now that I look at it. It's much
Wow.
brighter. I need to dim my screen maybe. But on my iPad where I'm watching the YouTube feed, you can see that's their natural color. And so, I'm hoping that the majority of that upper is actually made out of hemp. Um, that would be very cool. And again, this is probably Nike's fourth or sixth hemp shoe that they've released in the last year. And of course, no one can ever get their hands on them because they only make so many and then they all sell out. Hopefully, with these Stussies, I would love to see one of them go to mass production, where it's going out to all the Nike stores, it's going out to all the Foot Actions or whatever across the country, as opposed to a special release online. Or the Stussy ones will probably be a special release where Stussy has a contract to sell their clothing and whatnot, I'm guessing. So we'll see. But I do like them. I mean, again, they really are, they're almost all natural color. They're not some crazy weird pattern. They don't have any crazy sole on them that's going to keep the average person from wanting to purchase them. And so I really feel like they are trying to appeal to the masses with this one as opposed to just putting their name on it and calling it some limited edition. We'll see. We'll see. It probably still won't be cheap one way or another. Well, let's go ahead and add, and I have no idea how to pronounce her name. Mayhem Balik, is that right?
Mayim Bialik.
Bialik,
Yes.
the newest host of Jeopardy, star of, or one of the stars of The Big Bang Theory. They were, apparently, she was one of the latest ones to have her image stolen in these ads for CBD gummies. But she is actually suing. I believe I saw she's suing in a court in Florida. So I don't know if that's where this company is from or somehow they've traced these people. Now, I've reported on a lot of actors, sports people that have had their image stolen. But Clint Eastwood, they stole his image, and that was a terrible, terrible idea because I do believe he won like $6 million from them.
Wow.
And again, I can't imagine that it's the same company still pulling these. I mean, again, I just don't even know how they could exist if it's true or what. But it's a pretty decent scam on the old internet to use an actor, actress, sports personality, or just someone semi-famous face-wise in the world um, to to scam you out of some money. I am sure that the gummies aren't even real. Um,
Yeah.
there is no CBD in them one way or another. Or if you even ever get any gummies, I don't. I mean, does anything ever show up? I don't know how they can continuously have a scam going for so many years and still exist and still be fooling people and whatnot. But apparently they are. It's It's kind of crazy, but it is what it is. Buyer beware when it comes to famous people endorsing CBD. The ironic part is there's a lot of famous people endorsing CBD. So, you know, it's not like you can call them up and be like, hey, Martha Stewart, is this really a reliable CBD product? Um, but there's a lot of them, getting it. But what I think was really interesting is they're all coming up with their own products. They're not in, a lot of them at first endorse maybe someone else, and then all of a sudden it's their own line of products, which we are seeing a lot of people, which they are legitimately putting their name on this because again they were convinced by even using it enough to have this line of stuff to offer to other people because CBD once again does and benefits so many people, um, and that's why there's so many people behind it. That's for sure. Here's a kind of a fun little stuffed animal or stuffed, not stuffed, but um, toy. These little toys made out of hemp for this hemp for all. I think I sent you over a pic, the hemp for all, and I believe this was actually like a. I don't know if it was necessarily an ad or something to do with an Asian cannabis expo or something, but I just thought these were. I'd like to have these in the store. We had a little bear, teddy bear, that we sold for years and years and years. There was actually two versions. There was like a short one, maybe 6 inches tall, and then maybe a 9 inch tall hemp teddy bears that we sold in the stores. I have one somewhere, of course. I'm gonna have to locate my hemp teddy bear and get that on the show. I feel like I should have one. I don't know positively, but I feel like I should have one somewhere in my hemp collection in the hemp museum, so to speak. Um, but you know, it's just fun. This too is also fun. These are custom. I don't know if they're custom made or I don't. I mean, these brushes are actually handmade by Rosa Harridan, but they're really cool. And now she's using hemp in the fiber on the handles. I believe. I don't know what it's. These are supposed to be sustainable and all natural and whatnot. I don't remember the fibers that she was using for the brush themselves, but using hemp for the handle. Uh, it'd be interesting to see like a hemp hair. I don't know that it would really work as well. I mean, it would be because it's. I don't know. It would be interesting. It can't be that fine, or if it was, it would really take some thinning down. I think too, because it can be woven as thin as silk, and so might be able to make the hairs, out of hemp as well. I'm sure back in the day, old school brooms and somehow I feel like maybe old mops, like 100-year-old mop, would have been made out of hemp fiber, most more than likely. I would think. I've never even thought about that before, but I would believe, that an old mop, a mop that's over 100 years old, would most likely be made out of hemp fiber. So anyway, I'll have to do some research on that maybe. But there's some brushes, nice brushes made by Rosa Harridan, um, in a blind taste test of vodkas, and so I think they took 9 or so vodkas and blind taste tested them, and then commented on them. Highway, and I reported on Highway Vodka a couple years ago. These guys are out of Texas. Um, but Highway Vodka with hemp seeds. It placed like kind of in the middle, I think, out of all of them, and so that's good. And it wasn't, they didn't spit it out and say it was the worst of the bunch, and in fact, the comment that I noticed was, and I almost makes me want to get some highway gin. Not that I'm a big gin fan. Was actually it was kind of mellow, and I think they kind of held that against it. It didn't really have a ginny gin taste, or it didn't have a because like some of them, like one of them I noticed, it had a peppery taste, and so obviously using flavorings and whatnot kind of to add just a little bit of a twist to the gin. I think that if you're just looking for just gin flavored gin, the highway gin with hemp seeds might be where you want to go, honestly. So I'm gonna have to see if I can and find that. I don't know if we can order it online or not. Sometimes you can order alcohol online, sometimes you can't. Texas is a weird state, so they might be one of those states where you can't ship alcohol out in the mail. Either. You never know. You never know. But add that to my hemp liquor cabinet, I suppose, if I can find them. Um, if I can find it, um, one way or another. I did. Oh yeah, I kind of. I think I jumped right over it. In fact, because I sent you a picture of this too. This Muhu gin. Muhu. I guess that's how you'd pronounce it. Muhu. This story is kind of awesome. Now, this gin is infused with CBD, and this girl who came up with this idea, and I believe this is over in London. Again, I really love the label, purple and green. You can't go wrong there. That's for sure. She practically started with nothing, very little, and she sold the brand for a cool $1 million just recently. 6 months, 6 months after the conception of the idea, um, she did well. She did well, and all she did was take a gin and add CBD to it, and then came up with her own labels. I knew the one thing was originally like the label company wanted just an absurd amount of money just to make fancy labels for the bottles, and so she just started making the labels on her own or whatever. Um, you know, and so and again, you put the time in. Yeah, I'm not saying everybody's going to get rewarded for putting the time in, but she put the time in, saved herself a lot of money, and then made herself a lot of money in the long run. So good for her. That's fun. Now I'm sure Moohoo. Oh, Mohu. It just seems like a weird name for one. I get it like. I mean, she had to come up with a name, I guess, and it's very unique. And I guess I'm pronouncing it correctly. I don't know, and maybe that means something in Old English. I don't know. Um, but we'll see if that won't be hitting the states soon enough. Probably not, because it's infused with CBD, and I feel like they might be afraid to get that here. Try to send it here, but soon to be all over London, I'm sure. Now that this big company has bought them, so look for the purple and green for your CBD gin. I love it. All right, now I got to get back on my script here, so to speak. I had to go back because I knew I had that. How about this was just kind of fun. Thailand legalized cannabis, and now they're worried about the smell. This whole article is, and again, you can't. It's not necessary. I don't know the smoking rules and whatnot, but they were talking about just the plant itself, period, and then also the smoke. And it's like, so now that cannabis is legal in Thailand, and again, that's the worst that they're not worried about people going crazy and drug overdoses or medical issues. They're just worried about the smell. And again, it's amazing to me that it's foul to some, but I think it's brilliant. I think the flowers smell brilliant, um, and whatnot. But again, I have used a lot of cannabis in my life, so I suppose I can't say that I'm nose blind, but it's kind of funny now how the more it becomes legal, the biggest complaint is the smell, whether it's the smell from growing or the smell from smoking. So Once again, proving how safe and legal it should be. I don't like the smell of pig manure, but guess what? There's pig farms everywhere. I mean, I guess I can say, because I grew up in Kentucky, nature smells bad sometimes. Get over it. There's a lot of things in nature I don't like, but are essential, or we don't, get certain things and grow certain things and do certain things and whatever. But, just look at dog poop for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it stinks to all heaven. Are we going to get rid of all the dogs? I don't think so. Is anybody even talking about getting rid of the dogs? I mean, I suppose you can get a ticket for not picking up. And so I guess there is that. But again, that's just nature. It's nature. Nature. Um, Scotland. Scotland has produced its first cold pressed hemp oil. Now, the cold pressed hemp oil, Manitoba's been doing it for quite a while. Now, I believe when you do the cold press technology, it adds to the shelf life. I think that's why a lot of hemp oil that's on the market is probably cold pressed. Um, if it's not cold pressed, which means it's just pressed regularly, and really that really is literally what they do is they just put all the hemp seeds in this big machine, and then they just put as much pressure on them, and they squeeze them down, and they basically push all the hemp oil that's in the seed out, and then you end up with this hemp cake of seed, basically. They can also be used for things because it's the seeds or the outer part of the seed still, which is a decent amount of fiber still left in it, and there'd still be some nutrients in there. But and so apparently, when you cold press, it helps somehow keep that hemp fresher. Now, we always knew back in the day if you wanted to keep your hemp oil fresher longer, you put it in the refrigerator right away, right out of the gate. Now, I don't think you actually have to do that with cold pressed hemp. I think it stays longer. It has a longer expiration date, a further out expiration date at room temperature. And so, and the thing here too is obviously Scotland's getting in, or maybe they've always grown industrial hemp, or they grow it for other reasons. But this seed that they were using to cold press was grown locally. And again, we need to be growing for more grain here. We need, there's, if there's a demand now, grain is next after CBD, and the demand for CBD is it's, I don't I don't want to say that it's waning. We just have enough CBD in the world at this point, and I'm sure we're going to grow enough again this year to continue to supply everything that we need, and hopefully prices will continue to come down. But what we need to be doing is growing for grain, food product, oil. Hell, again, we can start talking about hemp fuel again with the price of gas these days. It's basically a diesel engine. A diesel engine will run on hemp fuel. Again, all natural. Grow your fuel in 6 months, as opposed to millions of years, and then it probably won't be back. The next oil on the planet will probably be the remains of us millions of years from now under layers of rock somehow. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is oil is not a renewable substance. Hemp oil is. And if we can run vehicles on it, we should. And I do know that the conversion to a diesel engine that actually exists on the road right now, or was being made at least recently, can be converted into a hemp oil engine. And so again, we got to get that cost down. We got to start growing millions and millions of acres for grain now, so we can do that. Yes, we do. Everlane T-shirt, the everyone Relaxed hemp tea. There it is. He does look very relaxed, doesn't he? Um, so anyway, this is and I didn't see if it's a blend or not. I have to go check. I can only guess it's a blend, but they didn't mention it. But this is a company, Everlane. They call it the Everyone Relaxed Hemp Tea. So I don't know if it comes in more colors or not. It's black, and I know I was just recently noting that black is a dye color that might not be as earth friendly as we want it to be, but that someone has just come up with a very, very good all natural black dye. But black t-shirts are still a thing. If it's white, then it's probably been bleached. We don't like that either. Anyway. All right. One more big story here. Jones Soda. We all know the brand, I'm sure. Jones Soda, they do like root beers and orange soda, glass jars. Been around for a decent amount of time. They are getting into the CBD game. They're going to merge. They're going to collab with another company to start putting CBD in some of their drinks, which is kind of interesting. They're probably the biggest so far if they actually do it. One of the biggest so far to actually do it with CBD. What I think is interesting is they're already infusing with cannabis, and I don't. Maybe it's THC in states where this is legal. I don't know. Under the brand name Mary Jones, which is pretty brilliant for them, in my opinion. I don't know if the Mary Jones is going to be the name of the CBD line or not, but they are using the name Mary Jones on cannabis infused drinks that they have. And again, I would assume it's Delta 9 in states where that's legal. But that may just be what they intend to do with the CBD. It's hard to say. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's get some events here. Get everybody on their way. June 24th, 26th to the Southern Atlantic Hemp and Arts Expo in Hatcher, North Carolina. That'll be an interesting event. now that I mention it, I'm sure what everyone's going to be talking about there. July 1st and 2nd is the Happy Hemp Conference and Festival in Richmond, Virginia. Then in August, we have 18th and 20th, the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee. And 27th, 28th of August is the 8th annual Blessing of the Hemp in Saranac, Michigan. The 8th annual Blessing of the Hemp. How about that? That might be kind of fun. Maybe I'll go up for the 10th annual Blessing of the Hemp. That would be fun. Either way. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching the High Noon Hemp Show. If you're watching live, if you're watching later, we appreciate that as well. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Reuse, reduce, recycle. One of those, all that combination. Make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See y'all next week.